Have you ever been in a situation that was beyond your control? You knew you had to make a difficult decision, but you didn't like any of your options? Or have you ever been part of a group that you knew had to come together as a team and act with a single focus if there was any chance for you to accomplish your goal? Now, if your answer is yes, you have an idea of what it's like to be in the perfect storm. Now, your decisions may not mean the difference between life and death, and they're certainly not going to create the additional revenue that you need out of thin air, but they can make the difference between providing affordable housing for families, seniors, singles, that are within walking distance of amenities like playgrounds, parks, senior residences, and offering a level of service in schools that attract people to your communities, or having blighted neighborhoods that are not economical to rehab. Residents who are concerned for their safety and an exodus of people along with their tax revenue that you need to fix the problems that's causing them to leave. They've refueled 3 times so far this mission. They need that 4th and final refueling to get home. But we are into the worst part of the storm. The turbulence is so violent, the helicopter cannot connect up with the fuel drogue from the tanker plane. Ditch is a euphemism for controlled crash. Dave decides to ditch. We finally arrive. I see one strobe light by itself. I see 2 strobe lights together. I know these 2 people can help each other. I head for the single strobe light. Try to get alongside the man in the water, but I can't control the ship. We have enough power to tow a battleship, but not enough to overcome this weather. The average hurricane has enough power that if you could harness it and put it to productive use, you could supply the entire power requirements of the United States for 6 months. And this storm is much worse than the average hurricane. We're a 1,600-ton cork bobbing in the ocean. We can't fight the weather. We have to figure out how to use it. We head away from the strobe light, turn sideways, and let the waves push us to the man. And another question I'm asked often is, well, how big were those waves? I'll give you the best answer I can. Those waves were really big. Normally, it's not difficult to estimate wave height. You stand on the bridge of your ship, you look down at the tops of the waves. After a while, you get a feel for estimating their height. Our bridge is 40 feet above the water. We're looking up to the tops of the waves. The weather buoys are recording wave heights of over 100 feet. Were they really 100 feet? I don't know, but I can tell you, they were really big. We begin to roll 55 degrees to one side, 55 degrees to the other side. That's 110 degrees from side to side. An interesting fact is once you get past 45 degrees, it's easier to walk on the wall than it is to walk on the floor. While I don't have a concern for the ship, I've got a great concern for my crew because they can be swept overboard by the waves and I might not get them back. If I do nothing, most likely before the sun rises, the Air National Guard crew will be dead. How do you stand there and make a conscious decision to watch someone die? But if I attempt the rescue, and some of my crew members are swept overboard by the waves and I can't get them back, as a result of my decision, some of my shipmates will be killed. There's no conservative approach. Don't do anything, people will die. Attempt the rescue, even more people can die. This is not only the most difficult decision in this mission, it's the most difficult decision I've had to make. You can't go into a situation like this hoping for the best. Hope is not a method. You have to understand what risks you are willing to accept and be satisfied you have a plan to overcome those risks. The movie, on the other hand, takes certain liberties, as Hollywood always does. The director, Wolfgang Peterson, said, "This is not a documentary. It is based on a true story." We heard the movie was coming out. My wife started joking with all of her friends. Carol said, "By the time Hollywood's done with this, you won't recognize Larry because he'll be a 20-year-old female." As it turns out, the actor who plays me is 6'4". Now Carol says, when I got home, I was soaking wet, so she threw me in the dryer and I shrank. These rescues took place in weather that's almost beyond imagination. They were successful because everyone was where he needed to be, doing what he needed to do, when he needed to do it. That's the power of a team acting with a single focus.